Give me random words. Give me random words. At least it ain't layer 2. Layer 2, huh? Murmur? What's about murmurs? Actually, hold up. I had a quick idea. Quick little ramble. Hear me out. Okay, so, you know, like, we have murmurs, and I think I made a video talking about this before, but I'm going to delve into it a little bit more. So, you know how, like, currently we have 3 murmurs in the game, right? And they each have, like, their little description. So, it'll be like, Ardor, hold G, or press G to do this, hold H to do X, Y, and Z, right? I think it'd actually be very interesting, correct me if I've already talked about this, but to actually divulge into not just like branching paths, which is I think the last topic. I was like, yo, you could have like Ardor version A, Ardor version B, but like actually being able to like really hard focus into Ardor, so much so that like it might just like take up some of your stat points. I don't know if it would do that, or like it would take up something, right? This isn't something like everybody should be able to do. So similar to like One Piece, right? Do you know how like in One Piece, certain characters have like super good control over their Haki, like Shanks, right? And it's like their main shit. I think something like that would actually be really interesting, right? Where like someone focuses on purely just focusing on their strength in Ardor. And it's in the lore too. I think like the old king of Etria, right? He uses like Ardor or whatever to like split the fucking sea, man. Like, dude, I don't know what that nigga did and how something like that would really fit in the game, but splitting the sea, that's like literally like Moses level shit, bruh. Like actually split it open. And you already know, like they're always saying like, oh, the water is super powerful in this game, so being able to do something like that is probably crazy with Ardor, right? So that's what I was like thinking, like, okay, what if there was like some like ranged Ardor attacks, or like, I don't know, just a way to like empower your body, probably have like a few ranged Ardor attacks. I don't know what it'd be. I don't know how it would work. Yo, thank you for the 9,000, Kendu. But yeah, I'd love to get something like full body. You know what I'm saying? Like they got full body Haki, so let's get like full body Ardor, bruh. Though would it be? I don't know if I'd want it to be damage reduction, because you know we already get too much damage reduction, right? Fuck would it be? Regardless, though, I think we can all agree the idea of being able to use full body Ardor, or like advancing your Ardor, I think is something that's really cool, and it can apply to Tacit too. I think the idea of like being able to like master your Tacit and being able to use invisibility that's even more advanced is actually something that, dude, I think a lot of people would really fuck with. I mean, bro, I think it's a lot more unique than like Ardor and Rhythm, because it feels like it's something that's like purely Deepwoken like related, like only, right? The idea of being able to, I really like seeing that bubble. Seeing that bubble was like really nice. You know what I'm talking about? Like the fucking 360 bubble, right? That you see around you when you're like crouched and shit. Bro, seeing that shit is like hella clean, bruh. Like you get like this big ass bubble. I think mastering Tacit would definitely like shorten how big the bubble is from like this to probably something like this, right? Second off, I think being able to like have more moves with Tacit. Yeah, there's Tacit drop kick, and that's like that's a step in the right direction, right? But I feel like, for example, right, you go up to like your partner and you like touch him and like, and he like fades, and it's like he's invisible, right? And like you guys, as long as he's next to you, he can also go invisible with you, and he doesn't have to crouch. He can just like stand next to you, right? I feel like some of that would be like really cool. So as long as he's in like your radius, right, he can also be invisible with you. And maybe I think it'd be cool to like be able to adjust your radius so that like if you want to make it smaller, just so that you can hide and you have less likely of a chance of being what's it called, of being caught, you can make it smaller. If you like extend it because your friend's gonna do like an assassination sneak attack but he doesn't have Tacit, you can like extend it outward in a certain direction, right? And I think that's actually kind of cool. I really like that bubble idea. So like imagine like you extend it like this and it goes outward, right? So like you push it, almost like you push the bubble outward. That way your friend that you just turned into like invisible can get like the sneak on somebody, or can also hide from said thing, right? And then finally is Rhythm. Rhythm, dude, I'm not gonna lie, can we all agree Rhythm can definitely, if they want to like further boost it, they can just turn it into observation Haki. I mean, I don't know why they haven't added the ability to like see opponents' health, to to be able to like basically have like Voidwalker ESP if you advance it. So like I think it's really cool that like right now you only have like the base level of stuff. So you have like base Ardor, base Tacit, base Rhythm with like one thing each. Like this has Ardor Scream, this has Tacit Drop Kick, I guess, and this one has like Rhythm Beat Sensor, right? And Rhythm Beat Sensor should be automatically a part of Tacit anyway. But I say make base Rhythm like the, you know what I'm saying, like the sensor or whatever, and then have like a more advanced version if you spec into that path, right? Sacrificing something like not being able to go as much into this stat or whatever, right? Being able to see people's like heartbeat, right? And when you see their heartbeat, it's actually a representation of like how much health they have, right? So like if it's like a boop 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 boop, like a calm, you know what I'm saying, like slow, it's like, okay, he's probably full health. If it's like boop 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 boop, he's probably low. That way it's not like the health bar, but it makes sense for rhythm. Like you're hearing his heartbeat, it's beating a lot faster because he's low on health, right? That way you see what I'm saying, it ties into rhythm. And then finally, like Voidwalker ESP, you can just like, it's like you know Toph from like Last Airbender, where she does like, she stomps the ground, it's like the echolocation seismic sense thing, like that too. That would be tough. Like imagine using your rhythm and then like boom, like you tap your head or you tap the ground, and then like you get like the Voidwalker ESP instead, right? You can like spec further into the specific path, right? So let me do like a final layout, right? So you have Murmurs, right? I'm gonna just put MM here, and you got like the base paths. You got like, what is it called? You have Ardor, you have Tacit, and then you have Rhythm. I do like black Rhythm, alright? And then you have like what's it called? You have like the base. This is like the base, right? And then you have like the advanced variants. So you have first Ardor Scream. You know what I'm saying? You have the drop kick. Alright, my bad, gotta draw the shits. And then you have the what's it called? Then you have like, dude, rhythm, why is rhythm so ass? Like the base rhythm is literally like whatever, and then you have like the heartbeat sensor, right? Or whatever it's called, right? And that's kind of like the basics, you know what I'm saying? Yo, thank you for the 2 Mizeron. Allow us to get 2 members at the cost of something. I also agree with that idea, but anyway, right, so you have like the very basics of what you can extend with your Ardor, and then the further along you go in said path, the more that you can get. Of course, you can't just do it for free. The only thing you can get for free is like the initial base requirements with like the initial stats or whatever, and then eventually the further you go down the Ardor path, right, like the full body or whatever, it has like higher requirements in order to unlock it that may prevent you from getting things. So like, what's an example? You might be like, okay, Agamotto, well, what would I sacrifice in order to get further down the Haki lineage, right? I said Haki. Ardor lineage, right? For example, and I think this will work very well. You'll see why, right? This will be nice. You'll see I'm about to tie it in. So as you get like more and more abilities with your Ardor, right? I think a very interesting thing, and it's similar to what we have before, right? There's a couple methods they could go about it, right? I think method number 1 though is like what's it called? And I think it could also change depending on what path you go. I'll also explain that in a bit, right? It could change depending on what path you go on how much further you want to spec in. But let's just say for Ardor, for example, right? For Ardor, it'd probably be something like you have to sacrifice like a mantra per like upgrade or development, right? You guys see, right? You guys see how I tied it in? You know, I wanted to tie it in a little bit to Silent Heart, just a bit. You know why? Because Silent Heart is boring as hell to play. I know, I'm like, damn, Silent Heart fucking sucks to play, really. It really does. So you know, it'd be an interesting idea. Silent Hearts already have to sacrifice their mantras. If they add more advanced Ardor abilities where you have to sacrifice your mantras, right? This will give the ability for not only Silent Hearts to probably fully max out the tree, right? But it also gives people who are just regular, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you have some builds where you have a lot of mantras, you're like, damn, they have a shrine that we can turn in for 2 talents, but imagine being able to turn it in and get a new like training for your Ardor. You see what I'm saying, right? Okay, what do I get? Oh, I get like advanced Ardor manipulation. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And you sacrifice part of your you know, your one of your mantra slots, and it'd be like, yo, are you sure you want to do this? This inevitably won't be changed. And then like whenever it happens, it's like a little Ardor purple effect goes over your mantra and like disappears. And you pick the mantra which disappears, right? Then I think that would be just for Ardor, right? For things like Tacit, I think for things like Tacit, you could I feel like they could do the same thing if they want, but I feel like each Murmur having different things to sacrifice would be actually kind of interesting, right? For Tacit, damn, what would you sacrifice for Tacit in order to have more stealth? You know what they'd probably do? They probably like have it to where like you sacrifice what's it called? You have like a debuff depending on what you use on your armor, right? Yeah, it'd definitely be like health or like your physical armor, right? In order to have like that sneaky style, generally the more sneaky things in games are probably less tanky, right? You see what I'm saying? So it'd definitely be like, I feel like if you had like 35% resistance, it'd probably go down to like 30, or maybe like per skill it's minus 2.5 or something like that of your base armor. And that'd be like your total, right? So even if those people have like 55% or whatever, the more you have total, the more it goes down as like a whole. Does that make sense? But yeah, that part might need a little bit more thinking. It just depends on how much they really add to a Tacit tree. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, who would want to sacrifice their health to be more sneaky? I don't think it's necessarily health. I just think it's more like sacrificing resistances, which is basically health, but they are different properties in a way, right? As long as it's not too much. I think like having every, like if they had like 5 or 6 skills on every skill to go further in the tree, you had to sacrifice 2.5% of your physical. That'd be interesting. Where like at max you're losing 15% physical to fully have the entire Tacit sneaky tree, right? But you know, it's 2.5% every time, so you don't have to fully invest. You might be able to get like 2 skills.
It's basically the same repetitive patterns, the same repetitive dungeons, etc. over and over again.
Yeah, thanks for the 250. I'll talk about that afterwards, right? So yeah, I feel like that would definitely be Tacit. And then Rhythm, come on, bro. Rhythm is easy. Rhythm is easy for us to do, bro. They could definitely do some cool, as I said before, right? You're upgrading your Rhythm. First, you can see outlines of your opponent like Voidwalker ESP. And that includes the monsters. Another thing could be like you can hear the heartbeat of like your enemy, and you know what they could do for the heartbeats? Like you have like the slow and green one, meaning they're like full 80% to full health. You have like the slower yellow like heartbeat, right? Where you can like see like, oh, they're at half health. And then you have like, or I mean the faster. And then you have like the really fast like red like pulsing heartbeat. So like you know they're low, right? And then, of course, I think obviously Rhythm would eventually have to have like some sort of dodge eventually. It wouldn't be an auto dodge for free, like how it is in games where you can just like press V and then you get an auto dodge. Nah, there definitely have to be like a proc, like how Risky Moves has a proc. Do you see what I'm saying? There would definitely be some sort of proc that gives you that free sort of dodge, right? My idea before was like, I'll briefly summarize. Whenever you go into Tacit, right, and you're like listening to somebody, right? Basically, like let's just say you're looking at this dude, right, and he has his sword out, and he has like the little rhythm thing around him where it's like, right? My idea would be more like, you know what you could do if you have the rhythm thing out? Imagine like being able to like just click it once, like you click your opponent, right? And whenever you click your opponent, it's like a little sound plays, and for just one hit, you auto dodge one of his hits. And then in order to get another dodge, you have to go back down and activate it again. So some people be like, damn, that's the point is it's not supposed to be that crazy, but there's also a lot of scenarios where like, oh, it could be crazy, right? Like for example, if you're fighting like a heavy crazy slots a heavy crazy slots multiplication build, right? You can dodge 1M1. You know what I'm saying? That could save you, you know? And people are like, Agamotsu, I don't know. I mean, there's literally already a talent in the game that, like, once you get in player combat, you take half damage. What is it called? I forgot what it's called. But whenever you get hit, you take 50% less damage for your first hit. So having Rhythm, having just, like, an auto dodge for that you have to activate, that's harder to activate. I think that's how you get it done, because I know the devs don't want to implement like any more free dodges. This is something like if you have to go down and crouch and then use it, that will take time and it's risky to do that. So you'd only want to do that maybe before you get into combat, or like whenever you have a lot of space from your opponent. Maybe you want to go sit at a campfire, you're healing up, then like you go into it, you press like boom 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 4 enemies, and on all 4 of those enemies you have just one auto dodge, and then you go into combat. And obviously you couldn't really use it in a fight because you have to crouch, which means you can't parry. And you have to, like, you see what I'm saying? It's a long activation time for a free dodge. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'll do for Rhythm's tree. And then what else would Rhythm get? I don't know. They could definitely come up with more ideas for a more advanced tree.